If you're wondering how to level up your metabolism or fix your weight loss journey, the answer might be alcohol. But really, you're having too much of it. Welcome back, Weight Warriors. If you're someone who's on a fat loss journey like I am, or you're planning to start one, you're in the right place. I'm Mike. I'm a fat guy who's trying to not be fat anymore by making lifestyle changes. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about mostly alcohol, but also caffeine and their effects on your metabolism. Like I said, we're going to be talking about alcohol and caffeine, but first up, going over alcohol and, like I said, how it affects us. Really, when we consume alcohol, our bodies actually prioritize processing that over other nutrients. Something about trying to get this poison out of our systems. It is some science to it, but essentially this puts a strain on our livers and it works harder to metabolize and eliminate that alcohol from our system. So sadly, this process does slow down our metabolism, which makes it more difficult for us to burn calories or ideally burn fat if we're in a calorie deficit or, really on a weight loss journey like I am now. One resource that I found while preparing for this video was from the Journal of Nutrition that went over alcohol consumption and specifically how it can lead to an increase of fat storage, especially in the abdominal area. This kind of goes through, you probably hear people talk about like a beer belly or a beer gut. Yeah, the studies show that actually makes sense, and that's why you develop a beer gut from drinking too much beer, because the alcohol builds some fat storage in your abdominal area. And one of the main drivers of this is because alcohol is typically high in calories and lacks essential nutrients. So while you're enjoying that night out, our bodies seem to be holding on to every calorie that it can and trying not to burn off anything and just burning off that poison, trying to get it out. Another thing that we want to look at when we're talking about weight loss and alcohol is we can't ignore the caloric content of alcohol. Alcohol is pretty calorically dense, providing about 7 calories per gram, which is almost as much as fat. So excessive alcohol consumption can easily contribute to weight gain, and it's essential to be mindful of the amount of alcohol we consume and how it can impact our overall caloric intake. Now, if you're on a weight loss journey like I am, I recommend, as I'm recommending to myself, to drink as little alcohol as really I can, because again, it is pretty detrimental to my weight loss journey. Now, I do enjoy drinking a beer from time to time, especially when I'm traveling or at a social event. I'm not going to put my life on hold for this extended weight loss journey, because personally, I started out as severely obese, a BMI over 40, so I've got a long way to go, probably 2 years in this weight loss journey. And from time to time, I am going to want to have fun with friends and family, so I'm not completely eliminating it, but I'm significantly cutting it out as much as I reasonably want to, because I want to set myself up for the most success as possible. And if you want to set yourself up for success, consider liking this video and subscribing to Weight Warriors. Again, trying to make a big impact here, so the more people subscribe, the more engagement we get, the easier it'll be for me to stay committed to this goal and the more help that we can provide along the way. But let's move on to the other ones. We talked about alcohol, now we're going to talk about caffeine and how it affects the metabolism. So there's some good news here. I found a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that found that caffeine actually can increase our metabolic rate and fat oxidation. This means that caffeine, which, as you know, is in a lot of stuff like coffee, tea, some energy drinks, is a stimulant that stimulates the central nervous system, giving us temporary boost to our energy. It also can have a temporary increase to our metabolic rate and increase fat burning, like I said, fat oxidation, but one of the things is a big but, that these effects are temporary and they affect different people differently, and also they're pretty minute. I mean, it's not like coffee alone is going to increase your metabolic rate by 50%. It's not moving the needle that much. The studies do so that it helps, but it's not the end all be all. So take that into account. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows, as I said, with caffeine, also of course with alcohol. Both of these things heavily can influence our sleep. Both caffeine and alcohol disrupt our sleep patterns. They can keep you awake longer, make you have a less restful sleep. They really, like I said, affect mostly the quality and the duration of our rest. And poor sleep can lead to a decreased metabolic rate overall. Not only does poor sleep really decrease our metabolic function, it also can increase our cravings for unhealthy foods. So finding a balance between being mindful of our consumption and, not hating your life is pretty key when it comes to consuming alcohol and caffeine. Another thing to consider with alcohol and caffeine is nutrient absorption. Alcohol and caffeine really can interfere with the absorption and utilization of essential nutrients such as vitamins and minerals. This can have a negative impact on our overall health and well-being. So while enjoying our favorite drinks, let's try to prioritize a balanced diet as much as we can and nourish our bodies properly. I like to think of things in the 80-20 rule, so try to be clean at least 80% of the time, with possibly indulging maybe 20% of that time. Again, the key here really is moderation. Another one to remember, as many coffee drinkers know, as coffee and alcohol both act as diuretics, which can cause dehydration. It can also help for regular, we'll say, movement throughout your digestion, but you want to be aware that this can also slow down your metabolism and leave you feeling sluggish, especially if you're dehydrated through this process. So again, if you choose to indulge, if you choose to have coffee, try to stay properly hydrated by drinking plenty of water alongside your coffee. And then, of course, if you're drinking alcohol, highly don't recommend binge drinking. Do not do that. But if you're going to have an alcoholic beverage, try to go 1-for-1 alcohol to water. So is there a way that we can approach alcohol and caffeine in a way that doesn't completely sabotage us on this weight loss journey? Yeah, again, moderation and good old discipline is really what comes into play here. Set limits for yourself and try to choose healthier options if you can, and be mindful of your overall consumption. Opt for lower calorie drinks such as light beer and spirits mixed with like soda water or low calorie mixes. I personally, again, if you do like a rum and diet Coke, that's better than rum and Coke. And again, staying hydrated, drink that water. It's going to help you out. Something that also came very clear in the research is it's really important to remember that everybody's different and everybody has different levels of tolerance. Unfortunately, metabolism and metabolic rates are widely different from person to person, so overall health really should be taken into account, and really your specific approach on this is going to be big. If you have any specific questions or concerns, it's always best to consult a nutritional coach or a healthcare professional, someone who really knows you and can help provide a personalized approach and guidance based on your unique needs. So in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to alcohol and caffeine, can you have them while you're trying to do a weight loss journey? The answer is yes, but you need to be strategic and you need to be aware of how much you take. I'm currently, again, on my fat loss journey. I'm trying to not have any alcohol unless it's a special occasion or I'm traveling or some circumstance which is unusual to my typical daily life. However, when it comes to caffeine, I drink coffee every day, but I have 1 cup of coffee and I don't put a bunch of extra sugar and cream and all that extra stuff in it. I just have that 1 cup when I wake up. I don't have any caffeine afternoon, and I highly recommend that for other people. It's been working out great for me. And again, with a lot of things when it comes to a healthy lifestyle, and this is what we're prioritizing here, is a healthy lifestyle with proper nutrition where you're getting regular exercise, stress management, and great sleep. With all of that, when it comes to things like, well, can I have this? Can I have that? Can I have coffee? Can I have alcohol? The answer is meh for the most part with a lot of these things. It's like, well, yeah, meh, you can. But in moderation, not going over the top. Really, if your priority is weight loss, then you shouldn't be trying to slam a 6-pack a day or to be drinking coffee and living off of caffeine. Try to hit the big rocks first, and then if you're covering those big rocks and getting the big stuff done, the 80-20 rule here, we talk about it, then you can bring in some coffee and some alcohol if it makes sense for you and your weight loss journey.